Gotta talk fast. Gotta talk fast. Gotta talk faster, faster, faster. Gotta talk fast.
Welcome to an oral review of Archie Comics' Sonic the Hedgehog, asking if you know how to administer an individual first aid kit, also known as the IFAK, knowing how to stop a bleed with some kind of gauze or packing in conjunction with a tourniquet has a much higher chance at protecting the ones you care about than a firearm. If you can buy a gun, you can buy an IFAK. Please do your research and seek instructions from qualified first aid administrators. I'm Nick, and except for this intro, I wrote the script.
And I'm Dominic, and except for this intro, I haven't read any of today's script.
You know, a fun thing about tourniquets is
They're so fun. You just put them on someone's arm.
Yeah, I just
Like,
do it for fun.
Gotcha. It feels so good when you
It just feels so
when
good.
when you undo it. It just comes rushing back.
Yeah, it's the feeling. You feel alive. That's why I do it. You don't want to turn it all the way. You want to, because you don't want to cut off the blood completely, because then it,
Well, actually, so this is where we need to seek the advice of a qualified first aid responder, because you are supposed to go all the way until it hurts and it stops bleeding and the blood flow stops.
and then you
do the thing, and then you pack the wound.
Yeah.
And then you open it up a little bit.
Yes.
Sorry. Okay. I didn't know if you were going.
I wasn't going to go all the way into that. I don't think people need to know all of. Okay.
Actually, they do. That's why I wrote that.
That's true. That is actually valid. What are we reading today?
We are reading Sally miniseries number 3. Release date, April of 1995. I'm assuming you couldn't find a publication date.
Yeah, it was the same with all the mini. I feel like all the miniseries are going to be like, well, this says June.
So release? No.
I don't fucking know.
Okay. That's fine.
We don't care about the miniseries.
95. It's in the middle of the Jordan three-peat. Okay. Deadliest of the Species, Part 3. Script by Mike Ganternovich and Ken Penders. Penciled by Art Mahwini. One of the many outstanding qualities Princess Sally reveals in her capacity as Commander-in-Chief of the Freedom Fighters and spearhead of the resistance movement against evil tyrant Dr. Ivor Robotnik is swift, sure judgment. The combination of this attribute with her ability to take decisive action regardless of personal cost contributes to the Freedom Fighters' success as a team. Sorry, I get a little Hamlin there. While her troops play out their appointed roles, only Sally sees the big picture. To lead effectively, she must retain their trust and respect. For in a war, there is no room for hesitation. When she gives an order, it must be carried out. No questions asked, no answers given. Their loyalty must remain absolute at all times, or the cause is already lost. Entrusted with the lives of her charges, the young princess wears the mantle of leadership stoically. Should I? No.
No, I feel like no.
Finish it, Robert.
Finish it.
Often called upon to take tough choices by virtue of her rank, she longs for the day when peace and prosperity once again reign over the planet Mobius. But until that day, she will fight to free her people, and they will fight courageously by her side. From the journals of Princess Sally Acorn. The assault on Robotnik's facilities went more or less as expected. Dillon, Hamlin, and St. John played out their roles in this affair, with explosive results. The last of the targeted energy substations had been destroyed, though not without cost. Arlo had been injured upon arrival, and although Penelope remained behind to protect him, when the raiding party returned, they were gone. The others were rightly concerned, but the most important part of the mission still lay ahead. With Robotropolis's defense system compromised, we prepared to strike. St. John had wandered off, presumably to scout the terrain ahead. After all, it was anyone's guess what awaited us within. Sally, Hamlin, and Dillon have breached the third and final substation and are currently under fire.
I need to do a quick correction before we get a bunch of emails. This isn't the third final substation. I think this is just their assault on Robotnik's, I don't know, main facility.
Wait, you're right. So they just hit 2 of the 3?
No, they just said in the last of the targeted energy substations have been destroyed. You literally just read that. So I don't know.
That happened off.
No, because the first one that they destroyed was the
Sally.
prequel.
Yeah.
And then the first comic had...
the prequel?
Yeah. Remember with the duck where they snuck in and
You're right.
they met? That's
right.
the first energy.
Okay.
I don't know why they couldn't sneak in everything.
Right.
And then the second one was the first issue, and the third one was the second issue. So now I assume this is the assault.
Okay.
They don't really explain the assault on what, but hey, whatever, man.
Sally, Hamlin, and Dylan have breached the third and final substation and are currently under fire. The three of them are on a catwalk, shooting down at the SWAT bots below them. They duck and cover, and Hamlin starts raging about how Jeffrey is a coward who ran away when the going got tough. Sally reminds Hamlin that Jeffrey did save his life. Just then, the catwalk they are on falls apart, with Hamlin falling. But at the last moment, Sally grabs his hand. Sally pulls Hamlin up, and the three of them burst down the door next to them.
Well, they don't
doors,
really
huh?
explain where the door is. They get up back on the catwalk, and then the door is just right there.
I like also, it looks like they kick a metal door.
They do. They actually do. It is a metal door that looks reinforced and like 2 inches thick, and they just kick it down.
With Hamlin's hooves?
Yeah, for sure.
Porcupines, man. They got that. They don't skip leg day. Behind the door are our old pals, Robotnik and St. John, who are standing next to a cryogenically frozen Sally. 14 minutes, 11 seconds. Unacceptable. You've kept us waiting, freedom fighters, and tardiness is a sin I find most difficult to forgive. Still, you are here now, and that, in the end, is all that matters. Did I forget? My introductions are in order. I, of course, am Dr. Ivo Robotnik, and my associate, I believe, is already known to you.
Why is he introducing himself?
Yeah.
Has he only talked to Sonic? Like he's never actually like met the other freedom fighters?
A woman. No Sonic, so I recognize the woman now.
You know, actually, we're giving him shit. This is probably the first time he's met the junior freedom fighters.
100%. Yes, that's
so true. I'll accept this. This is actually
the Sally thing. I don't understand.
Yeah.
And I don't understand this, but okay. Good eye, mates. British. Maybe you English can correct me, but I'm pretty sure that's an Aussie thing.
I wonder if
they just don't know the difference.
Yeah.
Ken and Mike do not know the difference.
Just anything beyond the pond. Yeah. I don't know.
Mates, I can understand. It's like, oh yeah, that's my mate. Yeah, that one I understand. But like saying mate as a good day mate.
The good day mate is Australian.
That's, again, correct us, but that's an Aussie thing. I'm pretty
Don't correct us. That's a fact. I know what's up.
Good day, mates. Welcome to the party. Because I'm so confused as to which direction to go into now.
Yeah.
Hamlin, filled with rage, jumps and starts pounding Jeffrey into the pavement. Sally screams out, "That's enough!" and takes out a slingshot and starts pointing it at Hamlin. Get off him, Hamlin, before you get a face full of paint. For starters, we're both on the same side after all. Hamlin and Dylan are both confused, and Hamlin asks, "What's going on?" "Isn't it obvious, gentlemen? The princess who stands before you is not the true Sally at all, but an incredible robo-duplicate."
I really like the name Robo-Duplicate.
I don't. "You see, there was no weakness in the Robotropolis defense system. Indeed, there never has been. The entire energy substation scheme was merely a field test for my latest, most ambitious creation. The automation. A perfect robo-duplicate of a living being in every way. Magnificent, isn't she? Only her creator knows for sure. And now that this first model has proven successful, I shall begin replacing the key members of your resistance movement." We cut to a robotic Sonic and Tails being created in the corner of the room. "As for the genuine article delivered to me by your associate, Rebel Underground leader Jeffrey St. John, Robotnik turns on the roboticization process for Sally. Her skin slowly starts to turn mechanical. Kaboom! Is that an actual kaboom? Yes, it is a kaboom.
Yeah.
Robotnik stares in confusion, trying to piece together why Sally just blew up. A feedback loop of sufficient magnitude to disable my roboticization unit could not have occurred unless... Sally chimes in as she raises her slingshot towards Robotnik. Unless the subject was already a robot. We've been wise to your game from the beginning, Robotnik. Now come quietly, or make my day. Robotnik is one to always have a backup plan. Not really. Just then, 4 stealth bots reveal themselves. The stealth bots are tall in nature, clunky design, reminiscent of the Sentinels from X-Men, but silver instead of purple and pink. The stealth bots start attacking when the floor starts rumbling. You said yourself I was a leader of the Rebel Underground, Doc. And here they come. That's right. Turns out Jeffrey was helping the freedom fighters the entire time.
Wow.
Who could have seen that coming? Drill vehicles come out of the ground and a bunch of beaver rebels pop out along with Arlo and Penelope and start shooting all the stealth bots. Sally gets a good roundhouse kick into Robotnik during the confusion. Robotnik gets up and activates a self-destruct sequence and makes a getaway in an escape tube, much like what you would see at the bank.
Yeah. Am I wrong?
Okay, when you say escape tube, what you really mean is a pneumatic tube where...
Yeah, I can remember the name pneumatic tube, and
Yes.
I wasn't going to Google it.
That's okay.
Just picture the stuff from Futurama.
No, see, I like... Because when I read that, I was thinking like, oh, yeah, an actual full-on person-sized escape tube. That way robbers have an easier time to get out of there.
Yeah, right? It is an escape tube.
It's a pneumatic... Well, yes, in this, it is a pneumatic...
Yeah.
It is both. It is a pneumatic escape tube.
Okay.
Correct. And for those who for those who don't know what we're talking about, pneumatic is like, it's those suction tubes that you put something in and then it sucks up the contents and then it goes to the other side and then you can do an exchange that way.
Yeah.
Fun fact, in Chicago, that is, at least I think for the Chicago Tribune, that is how they used to deliver newspapers, through pneumatic tubes. You have, maybe this was like a one special building in particular.
I feel like it's a one special building.
Okay, yeah, but at some point there was a building where the Chicago Tribune would deliver the newspaper through that pneumatic tube.
Because I know the reason why the Chicago Tribune was on the river is because they used to send the newspapers down the river also to... Yeah.
And then when it got to the building, they would send it up.
Yeah. The river's just full of pneumatic tubes. That'd be pretty cool.
It's not that they don't want to build it, it's that you forgot how. Sorry, we constantly quote that, and it is the dumbest fucking thing ever. It is the most anti-intellectual observation you can make.
But it's pretty cool. It's pretty funny.
It's so funny. The junior freedom fighters and the Rebel Alliance start trying to figure out how to escape, which is silly because the escape tube that Robotnik just used is literally right there. Although, to be fair, I guess he could have disabled it. It's like a one-way.
How would you disable it?
He's got a button on the other side that collapses it or prevents it from being used. It's not a slide. It's a pneumatic tube.
I don't know. It actually does look kind of slidey.
No, because it's sucking his cape up.
Or that's just how it's drawn.
Oh, no, they technically don't establish which way he's going. So if he's going towards the bottom right, then it is a slide. But if he's going to the top left, then it is a pneumatic.
Oh, I assumed he was going to the bottom right. I feel like you wouldn't draw it that way. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
You're right, because the bigger thing is at the bottom.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or at least you would signify like some kind of suction going upwards.
Yeah. No matter what, my point stands. They could have just hopped in the tube. All the semantics.
You even had more here.
Yeah, I was pretty pissed.
The junior freedom fighters in the Rebel Alliance start trying to figure out how to escape, which is silly because the escape tube that Robotnik just used is literally right there. IT's just an open hatch in the ground. Plus, they have drill vehicles, which have made very large tunnels in its wake. Correct. I'm like, unless...
Why'd you read IT instead of it?
Because you capitalize I and T.
Oh, did I?
Yes.
Well, maybe I was trying to make you say it instead of it.
Then you should also capitalize the apostrophe S.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's fine.
Okay, hold on. Let me do it again.
No, you got it. It's funnier just saying IT randomly in that.
The junior freedom fighters and the Rebel Alliance start trying to figure out how to escape, which is silly because the escape tube that Robotnik just used is literally right there. It's just an open hatch in the ground. Plus, they have drill vehicles which have made very large tunnels in its wake. You throw the gauntlet down, I will do that shit. Instead, they try the risky plan of exploring the facility while a self-destruct countdown is happening. They find a vehicle bay, which just so happens to have a bunch of UFO discs as vehicles. They all get into these vehicles and shoot out from the base with an explosion behind them. They land, and Hamlin immediately asks what's going on. You know what would have been funnier if he immediately starts like wailing on Jeffrey St. John again?
I mean, that's the correct.
Yeah, like no questions asked.
Yep.
Just immediately like, okay, we're good. Just starts going at him.
Yep.
I would have had this comic would have had an extra, like if I were rating it stars, like an extra 2 stars just for that.
It would go from being this is annoying to like, you know what, this is all right.
Yeah. They land, and Hamlin immediately asks what's going on. Sally says she'll explain, but first must give medals to the junior freedom fighters for a job well done.
I'd be so fucking pissed if I went through all this. I'm like, hey, can you explain like what just happened? Yeah. Like, yes, but I'm gonna like give you an award first, and I'm gonna wait like 6 hours to tell you. And I'm like, no, like just tell me.
That is actually part of how it's supposed to work, is that you debrief the personnel.
Yeah. I'd be, because I'm just like, come on, what just fucking happened?
Should I could, are we supposed to shoot this guy right now? I don't know what's happening.
We're all pretty chill about some people that maybe we have to kill.
Later that night, when they're all sitting around a campfire, Sally explains what happened. Sorry, I couldn't tell you the full story sooner. You definitely could have between the medals and
I was making a note.
Yes.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. But secrecy was critical. Your reactions had to be authentic, or Robotnik might have suspected our plan. Robotnik had cut a deal with St. John to swap me for a robot duplicate. But St. John's true loyalties lay with king and country. He was a double agent all along. After gaining my trust by revealing what he knew of Robotnik's master plan, we took steps to throw a monkey wrench into it by activating the robot duplicate prematurely. With my robot duplicate given free rein to fulfill its programming, St. John was able to uncover the nuts and bolts of Robotnik's scheme, including the attack on the next 2 energy substations, which were clever decoys devised to test the leadership skills of his creation. And in case Robotnik had any other suspicions in store for us, we had a safety net. Namely, the Rebel Underground. Shortly after you left, this is Arlo. Shortly after you left, they arrived on the scene. Then after setting my broken leg, we literally dropped out of sight. By that point, I'd learned what we needed to know. Next came the tricky part. I hauled the mechanical Sally back to the forest and swapped her for the princess in full monitor view of Dr. Robotnik. So far as the doc was concerned, this was the first and only switcheroo, which left us free to plot our next move. Dylan. I forgot Dylan. He's just got
he's a little nasally, right?
He's a little nasally, and he's just got something about those droopy eyes, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that.
And his no neck.
No neck and droopy eyes. It's just like he's like a full dude.
Yeah.
He's like a full dude. There's something about that description that's making me laugh. Okay.
Yeah.
That particular exchange corresponded with subtle differences I noted, but failed to heed. The robot always referred to Jeffrey by his given name, with the real princess referred to him as Mr. St. John.
Sorry, I think this is my favorite voice you do. I hope Dylan is in this a lot. I like low key. I hope he like replaces Sonic or something. I just want to hear this voice all the fucking time.
If it gets long enough, I can recycle it for someone else. But yes, the robot also wore a different. The robot Sally also wore a different colored vest. With those exceptions, the mechanical Sally behaved in an entirely appropriate manner. She gave orders, made hard choices, even grieved. Just like the real thing. I know, Dylan. If St. John hadn't tipped us off, Robotnik's plan would have succeeded. The robot duplicate was flawless. But now, we planted a seed of doubt in Robotnik's mind. He thinks we saw through his plan thanks to St. John. For all our sakes, we must pray he never discovers the ultimate truth. The next morning, we see Sally and St. John talking. Sally is holding hands with St. John, asking if he'll come and join the freedom fighters. St. John refuses, saying Rebel Underground needs him. Which doesn't make much sense because if you're loyal to the crown, the princess literally just asks you to join her. There's also the fact that if the freedom fighters teamed up with Rebel Alliance, their forces would double in size. St. John, instead of obeying his superior, sexually harasses her and kisses her right on the lips without her permission.
I mean, she accepts it, so
we can infer through the smile on her face and the monologue that's happening in the yellow. I mean, it's actually not even infer. It's straight up tells us in the monologue that she is accepting of that kiss.
Yes.
So it is an advance, and it's a very inappropriate one, but she is down for it.
I wonder how old this guy is.
Yeah. Real quick. So this is Sally. We left for Knothold Village soon thereafter. Though Robotnik had not been vanquished, he had been deterred, which meant my obligations as a freedom fighter took precedence over more personal concerns. I don't know, man.
Yeah, right.
And what of my heart? Where there was one, now there were two. The end. End of Dangerous of the Species. Most dangerous of the species.
Don't look at the screen.
Yeah, what are you doing? Stop.
I'm very good at ignoring
and forgetting information.
Yeah. I just need...
Like my birthday.
Shut up. I have no idea when it is. I just need to know how old this fucking guy is.
Did you look up Jeffrey St. John age? Control F age.
Dude, we're
Control F age.
I'm on his Wikipedia page.
And you're still looking for his age.
Yeah, it should just be right there.
Correct. Control F age.
Yeah, okay. You know how many words have the word age in it? 35.
Yeah, good. Start going.
Agents. Managed. Eager.
Start going.
Sabotage.
Okay.
Agent.
If by the time it's not there by 7 out of 35 searches, then it's not there anymore.
Yeah, it's not there. I'm on like 40.
You should also just look up Jeffrey St. John age.
Yeah, I'm doing that now. Aren't you clever? He's in his 20s. That's what we've got.
He's in his 20s and Sally is what, 16?
Yeah.
Ooh. By medieval standards, that's not a big age gap. But by any standards of modern society, it's a substantial age gap.
You know what? Just for my Sonic Sally age. Yeah, 16. Okay. So yeah, no matter what, probably inappropriate. I mean, no matter what, it has to be. Think about it. It's been 10 years since Robotnik has taken over. Mm-hmm. If this dude was a part of the Secret Service, then that means... Well, I don't know how their Secret Service works. I don't know if child soldiers are, like, accepted. We have to say, at minimum, he's 18.
Yeah.
So he's 28.
Okay, he's 28 years old. Sure.
How come I did more work on this than the fucking people doing the Wikipedia?
It's fandom.
I'm just saying, I mapped it out. It's not good.
All right,
maybe 26.
First and foremost, how do we feel about this particular part 3 and then the whole thing overall, the whole miniseries?
Well, this whole fucking issue is just monologuing about what just happened.
Yeah.
Which is really annoying. If I'm looking at it from this specific issue, I think it's just kind of a not interesting issue because it's just explaining what we've just read for like 3 issues. Yeah. And then on top of it, we have just convoluted plans and like
unexplained plans.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? What is this raid supposed to be?
Yeah, exactly. And then
the junior freedom fighters, granted they are junior, but they should have asked, what's the objective, ma'am? What's the target?
Yeah.
What's our extraction?
And then the guy's just coming up out of the ground as like a Deus Ex Machina.
Literally from the machine.
Yeah, didn't like that. And then as a whole, I just don't like what happened here at all. I think
Is the triple cross... Was the triple cross effective? Or are you at least neutral on it?
I don't get it.
What is the point? What was the purpose?
Yeah, so if St. John or should I call him Jeffrey?
It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. Yeah.
If Jeffrey and Sally knew that all the substations were not real, why did they continue to go through with the plan?
Okay, so well, let's go through this whole thing, and I'm gonna steel man the argument until it doesn't make sense anymore. So,
all right, yeah, let's rock it.
So that first part does make sense, because if Robotnik set the trap, it's like, they need to go through these 3 energy substations. It doesn't matter, but they think they need to, so they need to play into that. And
for what end?
Because Robotnik thinks he's got him.
Yeah, but why? Why do they need to attack these substations?
Because Robotnik set the substations up.
Right. So one step back, Robotnik set this up so that Sally's robot can get the leadership experience to see if it can trick the freedom fighters.
Right. And it does.
Yes.
At least the junior ones.
Why do we need to know this? Like, why does Sally need to?
Okay, skipping ahead. Yeah, that part doesn't make sense.
Well, that's why I'm like, that it falls apart at that level where I'm just like, unless if this whole thing was to try to understand the capabilities of Robotnik's machines, of like a replicant, we'll call them, that kind of makes sense to me. Where it's just like, we got to get intel.
Here's the thing, right? I think, well, okay, I'll start, I'll go macro. In terms of, okay, there is a threat, and it is this replicant program. Extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
That is like Terminator level dangerous, right?
Yeah.
So we need to neutralize that threat. How do we do it? We need to get close to Robotnik's replicant, what do you call them, replicants? Replicant factory and blow it up. We need to get in there first. So the question, you're right. The question then becomes, what was the point of the double? Why did Jeffrey St. John?
Well,
why couldn't they just infiltrate?
Yeah, well, and like I don't know why they needed to trick the junior freedom fighters. I don't know why.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
It really doesn't. Other than the fact that it is a plot device to add a level of intrigue, but what really was the point of that intrigue?
This is me like trying to do this in good faith. Like, I don't understand why it feels reckless to take the junior freedom fighters who have no real experience, put them with a robot that St. John, Jeffrey isn't even like monitoring them. Mm-hmm. Like, what if the robot went and killed them all in their sleep or something?
Right.
Like, I know that's not like what it's programmed to do,
but it's a test robot too.
Yeah, it was like a beta robot.
Beta. No, in terms of like why, it's really hard to accentuate any reason at all. I mean, look, I will say that systems like that where you need to really button up and kind of not sacrifice people outright, but sacrifice people's full knowledge of the situation so that way you can get away with the lie, does make a degree of sense. That happens in warfare all the time.
I understand
but what was the macro reason of doing that?
It doesn't make sense in this comic, I think.
Correct. I don't get it either.
Well, and then there's just certain, like, why does robot hurt? Why is Robotnik even teaming up with Jeffrey? Why does he think? Why would he even team up with an animal?
Right.
And
well, like, I can. The Matrix. In the Matrix, right? Cypher betrays the whole team.
What could Robotnik give Jeffrey to make Jeffrey be like, okay,
right,
I'm in.
Yeah,
let me live with these robots for the rest of my life.
That's a very, very important question. Yes.
Yeah. So that core premise right there.
Yeah, Robotnik was dumb to trust him in the first place.
Yeah.
What could you possibly give him?
Yeah, what could he give him?
But they could have explored that and be like, I will give you, I'll give you, I'll give you 50 Sally replicants to bang. Like, something like that.
And
right?
in which case it would have made perfect sense why he would betray everyone.
Right. I understand you want to do these things. You want espionage. You want double, triple cross. You want... Actually, so I looked this up. What we see here is what we call a triple cross, but it's not called a triple cross. It's called first double cross, and then it's called a...
Double cross plus one?
No. A redouble cross, or like
seriously,
redoubling. It's a redoubling.
That's annoying. So no one's gonna say redoubling.
Well, during World War II, the British Special Office Secret, I don't know, SOE, the British SOE, they had what was called the double cross system. Mm-hmm. So famously in World War II, the UK's intelligence services were top tier, incredibly good, and America's was also pretty good too. The OSS, the precursor to the CIA. Germany's secret services were fucking garbage. Like, actually really, really bad by any standard of a modern nation. Horrible. Germany kept sending agents to Britain, and they kept getting caught.
Nice.
Or either getting caught or just straight up, like, surrendering. And then the British would have them double cross by, like, okay, so... the Nazis don't know that we've captured you, or like they don't know that you've betrayed them, so we're just going to feed them false intel.
Yep.
And that's literally like one of the components of how D-Day got successful, is that they used this double cross system. One of them, his name was Garbo. I forget his real name. He was a Spanish sympathizer or whatever. Either way, he worked for I think it was the Abwehr. I don't know, that agent, the German agency, the non SS one.
The non-SS one.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's another problem.
Yeah.
Germany had like 5, 6, 7 competing agencies against each other.
Yeah.
Technically, that's also how 9/11 happened, is that the FBI and the CIA were not talking to each other. Anyway.
You would have thought we would have learned from Nazi Germany.
We learned a lot of things. Not that one. But
we just got to the moon instead.
Yeah. We learned jet technology from the Nazis. Unfortunately, that came to bite us in the ass on 9/11.
If you think about it, the Nazis won in the end.
But anyway, yes, this guy Garbo, he got an Iron Cross from Germany and a Victoria Cross from Britain for his services in the war. Even though he was truly helping the UK in the end. And it was just really funny. He got a shit ton of money from it too.
Hell yeah.
And he had like 50 different, I don't know how many, but like a dozen different identities. And like, look, I have all these spies. Don't worry, I got you. None of them existed.
Hell
and he was just feeding the Germans false intel after false intel. And like a lot of actions could theoretically, like whole battles could have been affected potentially by the double cross system in the UK. If you look at the double cross systems, like known agents, the fucking list just keeps going. Fascists are fucking incompetent when it comes to like social situations, which is just why they're fascists in the first place.
Yeah.
So espionage, granted, so like secret police, which is like bullying people, they're very good at that. Mm-hmm. But espionage, they are fucking terrible. Actually terrible. Liberals, very good at it. And that's how you get,
That's how we got to where we are
That's
today.
how we got Iran Contra. Right, exactly. Anyway, sorry.
No, you're good. I very much like your random rants about things I've never bothered looking up. Robotnik's plan is fucking insane.
Yeah.
In a way that I adore and respect.
Spell it out.
So he makes a replicant of Sally.
Right. You can do a lot with that.
Yeah. Hires a random woodland creature to go and try to double cross, whatever we're doing.
Right.
Sally, to switch out the real Sally with a fake Sally.
Right.
And then he wants the fake Sally, the replicant Sally, to go and just destroy these substations
Substations
just to see if she could be like a leader and like people wouldn't recognize the fact that
you got to do a field test, right?
Yeah, no, like I this is actually my favorite. Like it's very almost like Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, I thought about that for a second. I'm like, am I going too far?
No,
with that
it's very one of my favorite things in Metal Gear Solid is the S3 plan, which is
Hamlin, Sally. What's
the la 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 la?
That is exactly the bit I was gonna do. The lolly lalu, the Patriots.
Well, you can't say the Patriots. That's why they're saying the lolly lalu.
You're right.
Well, one of my favorite things in Metal Gear Solid
Go ahead.
is they create this thing called the S3 plan, and the whole idea is to put a soldier through the same things that this other soldier went through to see if they can try to recreate that soldier.
Right.
And it reminds me of that. It's very cool.
Yeah. I'm sorry. One of my favorite moments in all of Metal Gear Solid is in MGS2, End of the Tanker mission, where I think Ocelot goes, the Patriots, or whatever, and then the black colonel, the guy in charge of the Marines, he goes, the lale lalulu, and it's
lale lalo.
Look, thank you, and that is MGS is the one thing you've got on me.
Oh no, I played Metal Gear Solid 2 like literally like 30 times.
Yeah. Not the colonel, not Colonel Campbell, but that Marine general, the camera zooming in on him and saying that is imprinted in my memory as the defining moment where I was like, I'm gonna love this. I'm gonna love this franchise.
My favorite moment when I knew I was in love with Metal Gear Solid 2 was when immediately after that sentence was said, like literally the next sentence, Revolver Ocelot gets taken over by the ghost of the main character's like twin brother, and then immediately derails what's going on. And he's like, he sees Solid Snake, and he's like, brother. Anyway, yeah. So Loki super adore creating the like fake scenario for these robots to like learn and like to see if they can deceive. I don't know how good of a test it is to do that with the junior freedom fighters because they don't really know Sally that well, I assume. So I feel like they could probably be tricked very easily. Now, if it was like Sonic and Tails and Rotor and they were being tricked, I think that'd be a lot more impressive. It'd be more impressive.
I'm just noticing this now. They're not shooting ray guns. I thought they were shooting ray guns. They're shooting paint.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, they've been shooting paint this entire time. Remember in the last issue, she sprayed the penis monster with the spray paint can?
Correct. Okay, you know what? I take it back. I'm correcting myself. They can't afford ammunition. But they can't afford paint.
No, it seems like when they
the real
cover
reason.
The visors, they just die.
Yeah, that's what I'm like, okay.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. But a lot of things don't make sense. We just kind of slide past them.
It's not blood, it's red paint.
It's red paint. I think I went over my notes. So how are we feeling about Jeffrey as a whole after all of this? So, you know what? Let's go through all of them. And you know what? Let's save Jeffrey for last.
Okay.
So, because that's the one everyone's like chomping at the bit for. What do we think about Hamlin?
Hamlin's sick, dude.
Hamlin's the best new character.
Yes,
in fact, I want Hamlin to just be a part of the main crew.
Same.
Hamlin's pretty fucking cool. What do we think about Arlo?
Not enough time to determine.
I agree, but I really like Arlo's accent.
My accent for Arlo.
So I also want Arlo to be there all the time.
And you love Penelope and Dylan's. Well, accents.
So honestly, I love Penelope's accent. Yeah. But also, she said like one word this entire issue.
Exactly.
In fact, she said like a total of like 10 words this entire thing.
One of the things I constantly do, and this is almost a bad habit, one of the things I constantly do in all media is look at the character list and be like, could we have just eliminated this character and roll it into a different character altogether?
Yeah.
I'm constantly doing that. I understand you do need, like, maybe a character just needs to be, like, literally the red shirts from Star Trek. That needs to be a thing. Sure, up the ante, but we don't need to care.
Well, and like, I mean, obviously with this comic, I don't know how much you can really go and like kill off characters.
Exactly. Very true.
But like
if that's going to be someone, it's going to be Penelope.
Yeah.
It looks like from based on purely this
Exactly.
introduction. Yeah. And then Dylan, I got a little bit of like the soul of the group, a little bit, but not enough to really accentuate that. Would have been cool if he was given, unless I missed it, if he was given like a monologue about like the morality of war. You know,
it'd be very Metal Gear Solid then.
And that's exactly what I was thinking of. It's like, do you think love can bloom?
Yeah, on the battlefield.
And Sally's like, fuck yeah, I can.
She's like eyeing St. John over here. Truthfully, I don't care about anyone but Hamlin. But Hamlin is pretty all right. Yeah. I like Hamlin a lot.
How about Sally?
Robot Sally or real Sally?
Just the character of Sally overall.
Okay, that's a good question.
How do you think her treatment has been this issue? This whole series? Miniseries.
She, even after this Princess miniseries, feel like she's still not that much of a character. Let's think about her character traits, right? Leader, confident.
Caring. But also has to, like that long monologue page at the beginning said, like, she has to be tough when she needs to be, make split-the-second decisions, and her will must be carried out.
Yeah. Maybe they're doing an okay job defining the character, and I'm just not interested in what they're defining. If that makes sense. Because I just feel like she's just kind of boring. What are her faults, I guess, is a better question.
It can't really, well, this whole thing is predicated on like a double and a redouble cross.
Yeah, right.
So it's like, it's hard to parse what exactly.
She's very good at making convoluted and dumb plans.
Yeah, this was not an effective exploration of the title character.
Yeah, which is what I wanted.
Yeah, this is...
If anything, this is more Jeffrey's comic.
Yes, he's the most interesting thing here.
Yeah, which is also like... Shame on you guys for writing, like making
a dashing hero Chad of a character, the most interesting character in the series, supposed to be highlighting the girl, the woman of the group, yeah.
And then the other woman just gets like one word.
Yeah.
Like unironically, that sucks.
But it does pass the Bechdel test because I think they said like a sentence to one another.
Maybe.
Probably in that jungle.
But it was probably about St. John, so...
Oh, you're right. Probably.
So does it actually pass?
I don't know.
I'm not going to sit down and read these comics judging it on the Bechdel test.
If it passes, it's on a technicality.
Yeah, right?
But either way. All right, let's get to it. Yeah, no, you're right, though. In terms of Sally, it's not that deep of an exploration, and... We're filtering it a little bit through the lens of 2024, where everyone's sick of including women actresses, everyone's tired of the strong female lead, which is a poisonous term, not just for the chuds out there.
Strong female lead isn't the right way to phrase it, I think.
Yeah, it never has been.
But what I'll say is lead characters that don't have a lot of faults and is like badass is their character trait. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think, honestly, both St. John and Sally, they're going for.
Yeah. It's in a way, it kind of defaults to that, well, this is a Sonic the Hedgehog Archie comic. So kind of lowering the standard. But also, just to meet where they're at.
I don't accept that because
I don't either.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer that whatever. I think the most uninteresting criticism of something is I'll like critique something and someone will respond with like, yeah, but it's made for kids.
Right. 1,000. It's like when people say Star Wars is made for kids, maybe from like the boardroom, but no.
Yeah. Well, and like, even if it's made for kids, that doesn't mean you can't tell more interesting stories.
Extremely. Yes. Very much so.
And that's the thing that frustrates me because like I'm okay with watching like children's medium and what, like I love Steven Universe, Gravity Falls, all very good shows. And so when I watch something and I have like a critique like that and I say it to someone and they're like, well, it's for kids. I'm like, I don't care if it's for kids. Yeah. Like, you can still tell good stories.
The Iron Giant was an exploration of 1950s paranoia.
Yeah, exactly. And whether or not it was good to build a nuke.
Yeah.
Like, you could tell good things. So what do we think about St. John?
Jeffrey St. Motherfucking John. You kind of really nailed the head on it there, is that he is also uninteresting because this whole thing was, predicated on a cool, clever, slick seeming betrayal, but not really betrayal. And it's soap opera shit.
Yeah.
It's soap opera shit. And you had a chance to I don't need it to be gritty, but I do want it to be a little grounded.
You know what I think a more interesting story would have been?
Let me just say really quick, this series has been, and the Kanternovich-Penders run and the writing has been more grounded than we were for the first 15 issues.
And I'll say that's more interesting too.
100%. We were not having these discussions before, or we were really forcing those discussions.
We were forcing them
for comedic effect, right? But that's meeting the bar, which was already kind of on the floor.
Yep.
Right. So we've raised the bar, and now we want them to meet it.
Mm-hmm. Think about it in the context of we're exploring a miniseries, and we introduced even more characters, but we'll say 5 characters, right? And we didn't even get to explore Sally. I think if this is the direction they went, I would have axed St. John as a character completely. And I would have concentrated on just like the junior freedom fighters.
Yeah, there's so much you can do there.
Well, and on top of it, I would have it so Robotnik succeeded, and they had to realize that the Sally they were with was actually a robot, and they had to like learn everything that they learned together through like the first issue. Mm-hmm. They like overcome whatever faults they decided to give them, because they didn't give them any faults either, because doesn't matter.
To be fair, I think Jeffrey St. John has the capacity to be a really interesting character and actually cool, but still predicated on the fact that that's my word of the day, predicated, but still on the fact that he is kind of a prick, not a kind of a prick, a total prick. And I want to see him interact with Sonic. He has so much capacity, but his function as a character in this miniseries is such a waste.
I agree. I am looking forward to Sonic and St. John meeting. I'm coming at it from just the point of view of like, if you're introducing 5 characters, I think that's a lot. I think there is a core idea of junior freedom fighters that I like, where I feel like they could have explored their relationships and really like grew the 4 of them plus Sally in an interesting way. And then, if given the reins, what I would have done was probably act St. John, make it so Sally actually becomes a robot, and then the junior freedom fighters have to like work as a team and save Sally.
From what they learned.
Exactly. And then save Sally. But I don't like the idea of, that does...
Okay,
I would need to workshop it more.
This is sure. This is a separate thing, but I mean, it's the thing.
Because
replicants is such a dangerous move to make so early.
Oh, I agree 1,000%.
You've completely not blown, but rather, what am I trying to say? It sets a really bad precedent, because that is so dangerous. Because now every time we're looking at a story now, it's like, is this a fucking replicant? Yeah. Right? That's a total escape route that the writers can take. Yep. And it's completely unforced. Yep. That did not need to be the thing here.
Yeah, I'm not looking... Because now, the very first major thing that they do, I'm going to be like, I bet like Robotnik's a replicant or something. Mm-hmm. And that's how he gets out of this.
Here's another thing, even on that same line of thought, is that they have teleportation watches. Jeffrey has a teleportation watch.
Yeah, shit.
We didn't even think about that.
That didn't even register. You're 1,000% right. That's gonna break so much.
He straight up teleports.
Okay, you know what I'm gonna say? This is my fight back. This is. Sorry, I'm playing with a knife. What the fuck are you? Yeah. I've just been sitting here opening and closing it. What I'm gonna say is my pushback. Pushback isn't the right word, but devil's advocate is maybe Robotnik designed it, and it can only teleport to one place.
Okay, sure.
And the last place you teleported from, so you can get back. I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
And I understand where we have advanced sci-fi technology, but you need to put a fucking ceiling on that shit.
Yeah, well, now I'm always going to be thinking, why don't they just teleport
Use the teleport.
there?
Or why doesn't Robotnik use the teleporter?
Does St. John even have the watch on? And no, his design doesn't even have the watch, so it only comes into play when he needs to teleport. So I was going to say, did you like walk away with the watch at the end?
Maybe.
We'll never know.
What do you think about the kiss?
I mean, St. John's clearly a fucking pedo. So weird decision to throw in there. Just
look, they don't necessarily establish the ages in the comic.
They in theory they technically do, because he was a part of the Secret Service, and that was 10 years ago when the kingdom fell. So he's at minimum.
Oh, okay, that's okay. The math there,
yeah,
doesn't check out.
At minimum 26.
Yeah,
that's them recruiting children into the Secret Service.
Yeah.
So I feel like they wouldn't. So we're gonna assume 18, and that's he became a member of the Secret Service, and then everything fell apart. So he never even did Secret Service shit.
To be fair, the minimum enlistment age in the UK is, and I'm only saying the UK because I know this. He is 16 years old, I believe. But you don't become special forces immediately.
Yeah.
You need to,
you gotta work your way up.
You gotta work your way up to it.
Yeah. There's also being very generous.
Yeah.
That he just like put in an application to be a spy and got it.
I know not even a spy. I mean, so espionage, like true Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy espionage shit. That's anyone can sort of any age can sort of do that, minus unless you're 18
right now.
Yeah, maybe.
No, they're going to dissolve that department.
Yeah. But he's like literally a Green Beret.
Yeah.
Right, where he can like fight and shoot and all this stuff. So he's special forces, a commando. He's based off basically the British commandos down to the beret.
Yeah.
And yeah, he needed to work his way up to. I know in the Navy there is officer candidate school where you can just automatically start at. I think maybe this is all the U.S. military. You can start as an officer, go through boot camp, and then train your starting as officer. But that's still like officer.
Yeah.
Right. You have no combat experience whatsoever.
Yep.
So to be special forces at 18 is insane.
Yep.
Or really desperate.
Yeah.
But he's proven to be experienced.
I'm not wrong when I say that it was 10 years ago when everything fell apart, right? Because that's when she had the memories.
Go to the first.
With
you're right.
Jalaya. And she was a child.
Yeah.
And the city was on fire. And she was, I think they said 10 years ago, and she looked like she was like 5 or something.
Yeah.
So
he's definitely older than her, and it's definitely raising alarm bells and inappropriate, whatever. And that's on top. That's not even counting the math that you did.
Yeah.
So having acknowledged that, whatever, I still think the decision to...
I'm still into it, man.
No. I think the decision, from the lens of trying to make it work, the decision to have them straight up kiss like that, I think was a bad move.
I agree.
I think it should have been teased out. They should have, maybe like hold hands and then do some innuendo and like some winks and nods, but don't do the kiss. Don't do the kiss outright. I don't know.
No, I'm with you, man.
But they can rectify it by the next time we see Jeffrey St. John, he's at a bar and he's like got 2 chicks with him.
Oh, hell yeah.
Right? Which is totally what special forces like, or I guess even just Marines, right? They're constantly going to bars and just getting married and shit.
Yeah.
Which is anyone in the military.
It would be very funny
can tell you that.
if this dude has like 3 ex-wives.
Yeah, 1000%. That would be pretty fucking rad as like a character to have someone like that in this world. So fucking funny.
I'd actually be pretty okay with that. All right. Is there any like final notes, questions, anything you need to get off your chest?
No, man, let's do it.
And that's the issue. Only 451 left to go. I'm Nick. I stream at twitch.tv/mojosaurus. My streams are on hold until the beginning of 2025. My personal blue sky is at Mojosaurus.
And I'm Dominic. You can follow my jazz adventures in Chicago at Blue Collar Jazz, and my personal blue sky is at Dom Guan.
You can follow us on socials at Gotta Talk Fast. TikTok is Gotta Talk Faster. We also have a video version of the podcast where you can follow along with the panels and watch our handsome faces. You can write into the show at sonicgrams@gottatalkfast.com, ask us questions, provide corrections, and give us your opinion on this week's issue. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. And remember, when life keeps going fast, you gotta talk fast and just get through it.
I love you. Mate. Gotta talk, gotta talk.
Gotta Talk Fast was written by Nick Folkerts and edited by Dominic Guanzon. Intro and outro themes recorded by Dominic Guanzon. Gotta Go Fast originally composed by Norman J. Grossfeld, Joseph Garrity, and Russell Velasquez.
Gotta talk, gotta talk. Gotta talk, gotta talk. Gotta talk, gotta talk. Gotta talk. Gotta talk fast. Gotta talk fast. Gotta talk fast. Gotta talk fast.